evening, Jacksonville. I'm Chris Sorensen.
And I'm J.R. Resnick. Now, identity theft is a scary thing. We all have personal information we give out that can be compromised at any given time.
The National Foundation for Credit Counseling has declared this week National Protect Your Identity Week. The idea is to bring increased awareness to this disturbingly common problem.
Now, according to the Federal Trade Commission, more than 10 million people were victims of identity fraud last year. And a survey from Javelin Strategy and Research estimates identity thieves stole $54 billion in 2009. Now, of course, the threat of identity theft is more real than ever for some University of North Florida students. An unidentified computer hacker illegally accessed more than 100,000 students' information. Now, each student affected by this incident was not informed until about a month later. Students were notified just this past week. Alyssa Sperato has more.
This is UNF freshman Stephanie Hirsch. She was one of the 107,000 individuals that was impacted by the recent data breach here at UNF. She received this letter last week stating her name and social security number was compromised. UNF Media Relations has also alerted all students of the security breach. The news release states, quote, a UNF file that containing the personal information of high school and college students and others interested in UNF may have been accessed by unauthorized persons outside the United States. Hirsch says she thought her personal information was safe.
You apply to college, they're like, oh, your information's safe, but this happened.
The intruder gained access to a computer server at UNF. The server is offline now, but so far, investigators say they don't know who the intruder is.
The attack happened between September 24th and September 29th. But why notify students a month later? Assistant Director of Public Relations Department here at UNF, Joanna Norris, explains.
Just wanted to take the appropriate steps. We are working with investigators. This is a forensic investigation, so it takes time. We wanted to make sure we did due diligence and made sure that we had the most accurate information before we started contacting students and other individuals that might have been impacted by the data breach.
Although the intruder gained access to personal information, UNF has remained steadfast on its explanation that grades, financial aid history, and course history are not at risk.
There's no financial information, and we don't know for sure that that information was actually stolen.
Out of all of this, Hirsch hopes that this incident will not happen again, but she says she's not worried. She knows UNF will do anything to help. Alyssa Sperato, North Florida Weekly.
The university has put together a webpage to address concerns specifically about this incident. You can go to www.unf.edu/info/data breach.
If you're a registered voter in Duval County, you should have gotten one of these in the mail. 500,000 sample ballots were sent out last week, and we asked Supervisor of Elections Jerry Holland for some helpful tips this go around. He told us the biggest thing is being prepared when you go out to vote.
Look at it, fill it out, and bring it with you to the polls. The reason I say that, it's a 17-inch ballot. There are 6 state constitutional amendments, a straw ballot referendum, a local charter referendum. There's a lot of things on that ballot.
Holland says voters can shave off a good 20 to 30 minutes by reviewing the ballot beforehand. Well, another way you can save time on Election Day is by avoiding it altogether. Early voting is going on now through October 31st, and there are 10 locations set up across Jacksonville. The main Supervisor of Elections office downtown or any public library is open for early voting. You can see the complete list of sites on the Supervisor of Elections website, duvalelections.com.
Jacksonville residents had a chance to look into the city's future late last week. The University of North Florida hosted a mayoral luncheon where the public could meet next year's candidates for mayor. The event included an open panel discussion and, of course, lunch.
What's going on here today is basically all of the candidates are speaking on their issues and where they stand, and basically for the public to kind of get a little bit more information about them before they head into the voting polls.
Municipal elections are set for spring of 2011. And one local race got a little more heated on Wednesday. Deborah Gianolis launched a new website that draws connections between her opponent, John Thrasher, and the so-called Taj Mahal courthouse in Tallahassee. The $48 million project has become a lightning rod for electoral challengers across the state that are trying to attack incumbents for extravagant spending. Now, after the break, you'll see one neighborhood in Jacksonville is being honored.
And later, you'll see what went down at Everbank Field on Monday, coming up in sports.
We'll be right back.
My name is Brian Wilson, and I'm a nursing student here at the University of North Florida in Jacksonville. The nursing program here at UNF is top-notch. They give us a firm foundation so that when we're out in the field and actually graduate and pass our boards, you feel well prepared. I'm a nursing student, but I'm also active duty, and I'm participating in the Navy's Seaman Admiral 21 Officer Commissioning Program. And a lot of the skills they teach us there, like leadership, time management, and teamwork, it's stuff I can apply to the nursing program. UNF, no one like you, no place like this.
Welcome back. Earlier this month, we showed you that Jacksonville was one of the country's most affordable metro cities.
Now we have a story about how it's becoming one of the most livable. The American Planning Association announced a list of great neighborhoods for 2010. Riverside and Avondale in Jacksonville made the top 10. Here's Chris Fennick with the story.
A historic neighborhood with oak tree-lined roads, diverse architecture, and an abundance of parks. Residents believe that the region has finally gained some well-deserved recognition. Riverside and Avondale was recently awarded the title of the American Planning Association's Top 10 Greatest Neighborhoods for 2010.
And honestly, it's probably one of the best places I've ever lived. It's just utterly convenient for everything that I like to do. From hanging out with my friends, going down shopping in 5 Points, or going down to the Avondale Shops area, getting breakfast in the mornings on the weekends. Yeah, it's a really convenient and great place to live.
APA's Great Places in America uses 3 fundamental categories in determining their winners, including neighborhoods, streets, and public places. This is the first city in Florida to receive the prestigious award. Jacksonville Mayor John Payton said, quote, "This neighborhood celebrates its historical roots, commits to local schools and businesses, and forges strong partnerships with preservation advocates like Riverside Avondale Preservation and the city's planning department. The Riverside Avondale community is a source of great pride for many in Jacksonville and is a model for preserving our city's other historic neighborhoods." End quote. Groups like the Riverside Avondale Preservation Society have been securing historical landmarks and buildings the last 13 years. The group has also helped introduce a new art entertainment venue in its own backyard with the weekly Riverside Arts Market.
Those things being local to me and convenient by bicycle is really important. A lot of my friends and I get around mostly by bicycle, on the weekends at least. We tend to go to places like the Avondale Shopping District. There's some great restaurants down there like the Brick. Also in the 5 Points area, we've got a lot of great shops, as well as little places that people don't really know about outside the community. So it's kind of a nice, close-knit family.
There are more than 5,000 certified historic buildings, residential and commercial, that span the 8 square miles of this vintage community. Residents of Riverside Avondale look towards a future of continued community support that makes this area so rich and diverse. Chris Fennick, North Florida Weekly.
Mayor Payton and City Council members will hold an awards ceremony Saturday, October 16th at the Riverside Arts Market.
And we'll have more news after the break, but coming up, NFW's John Widener will discuss his Jaguars' latest breakdown in sports.
And later we'll see how some UNF parents got into the UNF experience. Don't go anywhere.
I'm Judy Rodriguez, a nutrition professor here at the University of North Florida in Jacksonville. I really think in looking at the curricula and the programs here at UNF that they're excellent, that they have a good blend of theory and practice. I always have an open door policy for my students. They'll ask me questions that are really different and outside of traditional thinking. It keeps me on my toes. It also helps me learn from them. UNF, no one like you, no place like this.
We are just a little more than a week away from Halloween. While animals may be a popular costume choice for kids, the real deal showed up at this fall festival. The Wildlife Rescue Coalition of Northeast Florida held a benefit Saturday to raise funds for animals in trouble. Rescued opossums and raccoons were in attendance to educate their children. There was also carnival games and pumpkin painting, and kids also participated in a costume contest. Some parents even joined in on the fun. They got their faces painted or got their hair done by the Paul Mitchell School. In other wildlife news, researchers from the University of Florida entered the final stages of a 2-decade-old project Wednesday morning. The team flew an 11-pound hand-launched airplane over Lake Okeechobee for half an hour yesterday. The plane took about 750 GPS-coordinated images of the surrounding area. The team hopes that their battery-powered plane will replace currently used low-flying research aircrafts. They say the plane is cleaner for the environment and produces more accurate data.
A sea of teal washed over downtown Monday night. Jaguar fans turned out in support of the team for Monday Night Football. Before the game, many attended a free event, Teal Town, located outside the south end zone. Fans gathered to participate in trivia, the high jump, and obstacle courses. The Roared cheerleaders posed for photos, the D-line played, and the Jumbotron showed all the latest in sports. For the biggest fans, it showcased the importance of having a football team in Jacksonville.
I think it means a lot. It gives the fans a chance to interact with each other and the cheerleaders in Jackson and the Jags Pack, and it just gets everybody really hyped up for the game. So getting a bunch of Jags fans hyped up before the game can never be a bad thing. We always want to have as many Jag fans as you can ready to cheer on our team, so bring them all together before it starts.
Last week, Mayor John Payton declared Monday, Teal Monday, to promote the nationally televised game. We all know Monday night didn't go as planned for the Jags, but things went even worse for some Jaguar fans at the game. 11 people were arrested at Everbank Field during and after the game Monday night. The fans were arrested on charges that included assault, public intoxication, fighting, and drunken disorderly conduct. At least one incident also involved assault with an intoxicant.
Did you go to the game?
No, I didn't go to the game.
No, I wish I could. Well, I'm glad I didn't go to the game because it didn't turn out too well. But stick around with us. John Widener is coming up with sports right after the break.
We'll have all the details on the Jaguars face-off with the Tennessee Titans and more.